The morning sky over Seoul burned red with alien fire. Captain Dae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, watching enemy ships float like dark clouds above his home planet. 3 massive alien warships hung in orbit, each one bigger than any city on Earth. Their black hulls gleamed with strange lights and weapons pointed down at the world below. "Sir, we're receiving another transmission from the alien fleet," said Jin Woo-nam from his communication station. His young face looked pale and tired. They had been hiding behind the moon for 2 days now, watching their world burn. "Put it on screen," Dae-ho ordered. His voice stayed calm, but his hands clenched into fists behind his back. He had been a ship captain for 15 years, but nothing had prepared him for this. The main screen flickered to life, showing the face of their enemy. Warlord Kalen Vex looked like a nightmare made real. His skin was gray and covered in scars, and his eyes glowed yellow in the darkness. When he spoke, his voice sounded like grinding metal. "People of Earth," the alien commander said, "you have seen what happens to those who resist the Vorthak Empire. Your military bases are ash. Your orbital stations are debris. Your finest warships float dead in space." Dae-ho thought of the battles they had already lost. Earth Defense Fleet had started with 200 ships. Now only 12 remained, scattered and hiding like his own vessel. The aliens had destroyed everything else in the first day of fighting. "You have 1 day remaining," Kalen Vex continued. "Surrender completely or we will turn your cities into glass. Your choice is simple. Submit or die." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Dae-ho looked around at his crew. These men and women had followed him through dangerous missions before, but this was different. This time they were fighting for the survival of their entire species. "Captain," said Hee-jin Park, the ship's chief engineer. She was small and quiet, but Dae-ho knew she had one of the brightest minds in the fleet. "I've been studying the alien ships. Their technology is far beyond ours, but I think I found something interesting." Before Dae-ho could respond, another voice spoke up. "Sir, we have an incoming secure transmission from Earth Defense Command," Jin Woo reported. "Transfer it to my ready room," Dae-ho said. "Hi Jin, So Young, Woo Bin, come with me." The 4 officers gathered in the small room behind the bridge. Dr. So Young Choi, their medical officer, looked exhausted from treating wounded survivors they had rescued. Tactical Officer Woo Bin Lee sat rigid in his chair, his jaw tight with anger at their losses. The secure channel opened and Admiral Mi Ran-yoon appeared on the screen. She looked older than Dae-ho remembered, her hair now completely gray. The weight of command during humanity's darkest hour showed in every line on her face. "Dae-ho," she said without greeting, "I'm sending you classified data that our scientists discovered before the Beijing Research Center was destroyed. The alien ships have a weakness." "What kind of weakness?" Dae-ho asked, leaning forward. "Their defensive shields operate on quantum frequencies," Admiral Yoon explained. "Our scientists found that a specific harmonic resonance can disrupt their entire shield matrix. If we can get close enough to their flagship and broadcast the right frequency, we could bring down their defenses." Woo Bin frowned. "How close would we need to get?" "Close enough to shake hands," the Admiral replied grimly. "The resonance field has limited range. You would need to approach within 2 kilometers of their command ship." So Young shook her head. "That's suicide. Their point defense systems would destroy us long before we got that close." "Maybe," Admiral Yoon said. "But it's the only chance we have. The world governments are meeting in emergency session. Most want to surrender. If we're going to act, it has to be now." Dae-ho studied the data files that appeared on his screen. The technical details made his head spin, but the basic concept was clear. Human ships could generate the frequency needed to collapse alien shields. The problem was surviving long enough to use it. "Admiral, what about the other remaining ships?" he asked. "The other captains have their own missions," she replied. "You're the only one in position to reach the alien flagship. The Resilience is our fastest ship and your crew is our most experienced." After the transmission ended, the 4 officers sat in silence. Through the small window they could see Earth turning, slowly below them. It looked so peaceful from this distance, but Dae-ho knew that millions of people were hiding in shelters, waiting to learn if they would live or die. So we fly straight into the mouth of the beast, Wu Bin said finally. Our chances of survival are what, 1 in 100? Probably worse, He-Jin admitted. But I think I can modify our resonance array to generate the required frequency. It will take time and we'll have to get very close to their ship. So Young looked at the data on her tablet. Even if we succeed in dropping their shields, then… What? We don't have weapons powerful enough to damage their hull. We don't need to destroy their ship, Daeho realized. We just need to prove they can be hurt. If their shields can fall, other ships can attack them. We can show the galaxy that the Vorthak Empire isn't invincible. Jin Wu's voice came over the intercom. Captain, we're detecting movement in the alien fleet. It looks like they're positioning for orbital bombardment. Daeho stood up. How long before they start firing on cities? Based on their positioning, maybe 6 hours. The captain looked at his officers. These people had served with him for 3 years. They were more than his crew. They were his family. Now he was asking them to fly into certain death. I won't order anyone to come with me, he said quietly. This mission is voluntary. Anyone who wants to take a shuttle and head for the outer system can go. No one will think less of you. Hyojin stood up first. I'm with you, Captain. Someone has to show these aliens that humans don't break easily. So Young nodded. My oath was to protect human life. If this mission can save Earth, then that's where I belong. Wu Bin managed a grim smile. I didn't join the defense fleet to run away from fights, even impossible ones. They returned to the bridge together. The rest of the crew was waiting, and Daeho could see the question in their eyes. He had always been honest with them, and he wouldn't stop now. We have a mission, he announced. We're going to fly into the heart of the alien fleet and try to bring down their flagship's shields. It's dangerous. It's probably suicide, but it might be Earth's only chance. He paused, looking at each face on the bridge. Anyone who wants to leave can take a shuttle to the outer colonies. You have 5 minutes to decide. Nobody moved. Jin Wu spoke for all of them. Sir, with respect, where else would we go? This is our home. These are our people. If Earth falls, what's the point of running? Daeho felt a surge of pride in his crew. In humanity's darkest hour, these ordinary people had chosen to stand and fight against impossible odds. Maybe that was what made humans different from other species. Maybe that was why they deserved to survive. Then let's give those aliens something they've never seen before, he said. Let's show them what happens when you threaten Earth. The Resilience turned toward the alien fleet, beginning its approach to what might be humanity's final battle. The U.S. Resilience moved through space like a ghost, using the shadows of asteroids and debris to hide from alien sensors. Captain Daeho Kim watched the tactical display as they slowly approached the Vorthak fleet. The enemy ships looked like sleeping giants, but he knew they were always watching. How long until we reach optimal position? Daeho asked quietly. Wu Bin Li checked his calculations again. 4 hours at our current speed. But Captain, if we go any faster, their sensors will detect us. In the engineering section, He-Jin Park worked without rest. She had been modifying the ship's resonance array for 6 hours straight. Her hands were covered in grease and sparks flew from the open panels around her. The modification was more complex than anything she had attempted before. The harmonic frequency generator is almost ready, she reported over the comm system. But Captain, I need to warn you about something. When we activate this system, it will drain almost all our power. We'll have maybe 30 seconds before our engines shut down. Daeho felt his stomach tighten. 30 seconds wouldn't be enough time to escape after the attack. They would be sitting helpless in space, waiting for the aliens to destroy them. Understood, he replied. Keep working. Dr. So Young Choi was in the medical bay, treating the last of the survivors they had rescued. An old man from the Mars colony held her hand as she checked his injuries. His family had died when the aliens attacked their mining station. Doctor, he whispered, are we really going to make it? Can your ship save Earth? So Young looked into his tired eyes. She wanted to lie, to give him hope. But she had always been honest with her patients. We're going to try, she said softly. That's all anyone can do, on the bridge, Jinwoo Nam was listening to alien communications. The Vorthak used a language that sounded like metal scraping against stone, but the computer could translate some of it. What he heard made his blood run cold. "Captain," he called out, "I'm picking up transmissions from the alien fleet. They're talking about other human colonies. Sir, they've already destroyed New Geneva and the Titan research station. They're holding prisoners on their ships." Daeho closed his eyes for a moment. More innocent people dead, more families destroyed. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him like a mountain. "Any word about Earth's surrender deadline?" he asked. "Yes, sir. The alien commander is getting impatient. He's moved the deadline up by 2 hours. They're going to start bombing cities in 4 hours instead of 6. That meant they had even less time than planned." Daeho was about to respond when alarms started blaring throughout the ship. "Contact ahead," Wubin shouted. Small craft, engines damaged, transmitting human distress codes. On the main screen they could see a fighter ship drifting in space. Half of its hull was torn away and it was leaking atmosphere. But someone was still alive inside trying to signal for help. "It's one of ours," Jinwoo confirmed. Pilot identifies himself as Lieutenant Tae-min Ko, 7th Fighter Squadron. Daeho made a quick decision. Bring him aboard, fast. The rescue took precious minutes. Every second they spent helping the pilot was a second closer to the alien deadline. But Daeho couldn't leave a fellow human to die in space. Tae-min Ko stumbled into the medical bay supported by 2 crew members. He was young, maybe 25, with burn scars on his face and arms. His flight suit was torn and bloody. "Captain," he gasped as So Young treated his wounds, "I have information about the alien fleet. My squadron attacked them yesterday. We learned something important." Daeho leaned forward. "What did you learn?" "Their fighters can't turn as fast as ours," Tae-min said. "And their formation flying is terrible. They rely on superior firepower, not skill. We actually shot down 3 of their ships before they overwhelmed us." This was the first good news Daeho had heard in days. If human pilots could outfly alien fighters, maybe they had a better chance than he thought. "There's more," Tae-min continued. "I intercepted some of their tactical communications. They've never fought an enemy that uses surprise attacks. Every species they've conquered before just lined up their ships and fought head-on battles." Wubin looked interested. "So they're not used to guerrilla tactics?" "Exactly. They expect us to fight like everyone else they've beaten. When we do something unexpected, it confuses them." Hyejin's voice came over the intercom. "Captain, I'm detecting energy buildups in the alien fleet. It looks like they're preparing their bombardment weapons." Daeho felt time slipping away. They were still 2 hours from their attack position, but the aliens were getting ready to destroy Earth cities. "Jinwoo, try to contact any other human ships in the system," he ordered. "Tell them we need a distraction." "Sir, most of our remaining ships are cargo vessels and civilian craft. They're not equipped for combat." "Then we'll have to hope their crews are braver than their ships," Daeho replied. While Jinwoo sent out the call, Tae-min told them more about what he had seen during his squadron's attack. The alien ships were powerful, but they moved in predictable patterns. Their weapons were devastating, but they took time to recharge between shots. "The key is speed and surprise," he explained. "Hit them fast, then get out before they can respond. But Captain, you need to know something else. I saw inside one of their ships when my wingman crashed into it." "What did you see?" So Young asked. Taemin's face went pale. "They have human prisoners. Hundreds of them. They're keeping people alive for some reason." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. Even if they succeeded in their mission, innocent people would die when the alien ships were destroyed. "We can't save everyone," Daeho said quietly. "But if we don't stop these ships, everyone on Earth will die." It was the hardest decision of his life. As a captain, his duty was to protect all human life. But sometimes, protecting many meant sacrificing few. Hyejin's voice interrupted his dark thoughts. "Captain, the resonance array is ready, but I need to test it first and any energy spike will show up on their sensors." "How long for the test?" Daeho asked. 2 minutes. "Do it." The next 2 minutes felt like hours. The ship's lights dimmed as power flowed to the experimental weapon. Strange harmonics echoed through the hull, making everyone's teeth ache. Then it was done. The weapon was ready. Contacts on sensors, Wu Bin announced. 3 alien patrol ships heading this way. They must have detected our energy spike. Daeho looked at the tactical display. The patrol ships were fast, and they would reach the Resilience in 20 minutes. There was no way to outrun them while staying hidden. Jinwoo, any response to our distraction request? Yes, sir. We have 17 ships volunteering to help. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, even a passenger liner. They know it's suicide, but they're willing to try. 17 civilian ships against the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. It should have been hopeless, but Daeho felt a spark of pride. This was humanity at its best. Ordinary people choosing to fight impossible odds to protect their home. Tell them to wait for our signal, he said. Then have them attack the alien fleet from multiple directions. They won't hurt the enemy ships, but they might create enough confusion for us to get close. Taemin stood up slowly, still weak from his injuries. Captain, let me take a shuttle and lead them. I know the alien formations. I can help coordinate the attack. You're injured, So Young protested. I can still fly, Taemin replied, and those civilian pilots will need someone who understands military tactics. Daeho nodded. Sometimes the best plans required good people to take terrible risks. Do it, he said. But remember, this is a distraction, not a victory. Your job is to keep the aliens busy while we get close to their flagship. As Taemin prepared for launch, the alien patrol ships came closer. Soon the Resilience would be discovered, and their secret approach would become a desperate race against time. But for the first time since the invasion began, Daeho felt hope. Humanity might be outgunned and outnumbered, but they had something the aliens didn't understand. They had the courage to fight when victory seemed impossible. The shuttle bay doors opened, and Lieutenant Taemin Ko flew out into the darkness of space. Behind him, the UES Resilience continued its slow approach toward the alien fleet. Ahead, 17 civilian ships waited for his signal to begin their desperate attack. Captain Daeho Kim watched from the bridge as the young pilot's shuttle disappeared among the stars. In 2 hours, those brave civilian crews would throw themselves against the most powerful war fleet in the galaxy. Most would die, but their sacrifice might give Earth a chance. Captain, Jinwoo Nam called from his station. I'm picking up more alien communications. They're getting suspicious about our missing patrol ships. The 3 Vorthak vessels that had been sent to investigate were now floating dead in space. Taemin had led them into an asteroid field where the Resilience had been waiting. It was their first real victory against the aliens, but it wouldn't stay secret for long. How much time before they discover what happened? Daeho asked. Maybe an hour, Jinwoo replied. But sir, I'm hearing something else. The aliens are talking about humans differently now. They're calling us unpredictable. Down in the engineering section, Heejin Park made an amazing discovery. She had been studying the harmonic frequencies needed for their weapon when she noticed something strange in the computer's music files. Captain, please come to engineering, she called over the intercom. I found something you need to see. Daeho found her standing in front of a massive display screen showing sound wave patterns. The patterns looked like mountains and valleys, rising and falling in complex rhythms. What am I looking at? He asked. Music, Heejin said with excitement in her voice. Human music. I was analyzing the frequency we need to disrupt alien shields, and I discovered that our music naturally contains similar harmonic patterns. She pointed to different sections of the display. Look at this piece by Beethoven. These frequency spikes match almost exactly with the resonance pattern we need. And here, this traditional Korean folk song has harmonic structures that could amplify our weapon's power. Daeho stared at the screen. Are you saying our music can be used as a weapon? Not just any music, Hyejin explained. Human music. I tested samples from other species in our database. None of them have these complex harmonic relationships. It's something unique about how humans create and hear music. This was incredible news. If human music could strengthen their weapon, they might actually have a chance of success. How do we use this? Daeho asked. We broadcast music along with the resonance frequency, Jin said. The harmonic patterns will amplify each other, making our weapon much more powerful. We might even be able to affect multiple ships instead of just one. Daeho felt hope growing in his chest. What kind of music works best? Anything with complex harmonies. Classical music, folk songs, even some modern pieces. The more emotional and complicated the music, the better it works. They returned to the bridge together where Dr. So-Young Choi was monitoring communications from Earth. The news was not good. "Captain, I'm receiving medical reports from the surface," she said sadly. "The aliens have started bombing military targets near major cities. Casualties are mounting." "How long until they target civilian areas?" Daeho asked. "Based on their pattern, maybe 3 hours. Woo Bin Lee looked up from his tactical station. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Lieutenant Ko. The civilian ships are in position and ready to begin their attack." On the main screen, Taemin's face appeared. He was sitting in the cockpit of a mining ship, surrounded by ordinary people who had volunteered to fight. Behind him, Daeho could see an old man who looked like a cargo ship captain and a young woman who might have been a freight pilot. "Captain Kim, we're ready," Taemin reported. "I've explained the plan to all 17 ship captains. They understand this is a one-way mission." "Understood," Daeho replied. "You have brave people with you, Lieutenant." "The bravest," Taemin agreed. "Captain Yonho Shin here used to haul supplies to the outer colonies. He says he's been running from pirates his whole life and he's tired of running. Mining foreman Gildong Bay brought his entire crew. They want to make sure their families on Earth have a future." Daeho could see the determination in their eyes. These weren't soldiers. They were ordinary people who had chosen to become heroes. "Begin your attack in 30 minutes, he ordered. "Hit them from all directions, but don't try to win, just keep them busy and confused." "Understood, sir. See you on the other side." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge quiet. Everyone knew that most of those brave volunteers would be dead within the hour. Jinwoo suddenly looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm detecting something strange in the alien communications. They're arguing among themselves." "About what?" "Us. Some of their commanders think humans are just another primitive species to be crushed, but others are saying we're different. They're worried about our unpredictable tactics." This was exactly what Taemin had predicted. The aliens had conquered dozens of species, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. "What else are they saying?" Daeho asked. "They're calling us crazy," Jinwoo replied with a small smile. "One of their officers said that humans fight like they don't care about dying." "Maybe we don't," Woo Bin said quietly. "Not when our families are threatened." Jin was back at her engineering station, making final preparations for their weapon. "Captain, I've loaded our music database into the resonance array. When we activate the weapon, it will broadcast everything from symphonies to children's lullabies." "Will the aliens understand what we're doing?" So-Young asked. "I don't think so," Jin replied. "Their culture seems focused on conquest and control. I doubt they create art the way we do." Daeho thought about this. Human music came from human emotions, from love and loss and hope and fear. It was born from the same spirit that made people fight impossible battles to protect what they cared about. 10 minutes until the diversionary attack begins," Woo Bin announced. On the tactical display, they could see the alien fleet hanging in space like vultures. The massive ships looked invincible, but Daeho knew that every enemy had weaknesses. The trick was finding them and being brave enough to exploit them. "Jinwoo, start broadcasting on all frequencies," he ordered. "I want every human ship in the system to hear what we're about to do." "What should I tell them, sir?" Daeho thought for a moment. "Tell them that today, humanity shows the galaxy who we really are. Tell them that we don't surrender, we don't give up, and we don't go quietly into the dark." The message went out across the solar system, reaching the desperate defenders on Earth and the scattered survivors hiding in the outer colonies. For the first time in days, humans had something to hope for. "Contact from Lieutenant Ko," Woo Bin reported. "The civilian ships are beginning their attack run." On the screen, they could see tiny points of light moving toward the alien fleet. 17 small ships against 3 massive warships. It should have been laughable, but somehow it wasn't. "Look at them go," So Young whispered. The mining ships and cargo haulers spread out in a wide formation, approaching the alien fleet from different angles. They were slow and clumsy compared to military vessels, but they flew with determination that couldn't be measured in statistics. The first alien ship to respond was a patrol cruiser. Its weapons lit up space as it fired at the approaching humans. 2 civilian ships exploded immediately, but the others kept coming. "They're not even trying to dodge," Wubin observed. "They can't," Daeho realized. "Those ships weren't built for combat. All they can do is fly straight at the enemy and hope to cause damage." But the civilian crews had learned something important from Taemin. Instead of attacking as a group, they came in one at a time, forcing the aliens to deal with multiple threats. Each ship that died bought time for the others to get closer. Mining ship Captain Gildong Bai broke through the alien defense line and rammed his vessel into the side of a cruiser. The explosion lit up space like a new star, and when the light faded, both ships were gone. "He did it," Jinwoo said with amazement. "He actually hurt them." More civilian ships followed Gildong's example. They couldn't match alien firepower, but they could show the galaxy that humans would rather die as heroes than live as slaves. "Captain," Heejin called out. "The aliens are pulling ships away from Earth to deal with the civilian attack. This is our chance." Daeho looked at the tactical display. The diversionary attack was working. The alien formation was breaking apart as ships moved to defend against the unexpected assault. "All ahead full," he ordered. "Take us in." The UES Resilience accelerated toward the alien flagship, carrying humanity's last hope through the darkness of space. Behind them, brave volunteers died to give them this chance. Ahead, the most dangerous part of their mission was about to begin. "Hyejin, prepare the resonance weapon," Daeho commanded, "and start broadcasting our music. Let's show these aliens what the human spirit sounds like." The UES Resilience raced through space toward the alien flagship, but they were not alone. Enemy patrol ships had spotted them and were closing fast. Captain Daeho Kim watched the tactical display as red dots surrounded his ship like angry wasps. 6. Enemy fighters incoming, Wubin Lee reported. "They'll intercept us in 3 minutes." "Can we outrun them?" Daeho asked. "Not without full power to engines," Hyejin Park replied from engineering. "But if I divert power from the resonance weapon, we won't be able to complete the mission." They were trapped. If they ran, the mission failed. If they fought, they would probably die before reaching the alien flagship. Daeho was about to order evasive action when Jinwoo Nam shouted from his station, "Captain, incoming transmission on all human frequencies. It's from Earth." The main screen flickered to life, showing a face Daeho recognized. Dr. Yoonji Lim had been a physics professor before the invasion. Now she was leading the resistance fighters, hiding in Seoul's underground tunnels. "To all human ships?" she said, her voice steady despite the explosions echoing behind her. "We know what you're trying to do. We're going to help." Before Daeho could respond, space around them exploded with activity. Ships came out of hiding from behind asteroids, from the shadows of destroyed stations, from places where no one thought anything could survive. "Contact ahead," Wubin announced with amazement. "It's the cargo ship Dancing Star. Captain Yanho Shin is requesting permission to engage enemy fighters." "Permission granted," Daeho replied immediately. The old cargo ship moved between the Resilience and the approaching alien fighters. Its hull was patched with metal plates and its weapons were nothing more than mining lasers, but Captain Shin flew it like a warship. "This is Yanho Shin," came the transmission. "I've been hauling cargo for 30 years and I'm tired of running from bullies. Let's see how these aliens like a real fight." The Dancing Star opened fire with its weak weapons, drawing the attention of the alien fighters. The enemy ships turned toward this new threat, giving the Resilience precious time to continue its approach. But Captain Shin wasn't fighting alone. More ships appeared from nowhere. The mining vessel Iron Will, commanded by Foreman Gildong Bai's younger brother, joined the battle. A passenger liner that had been hiding near Jupiter came racing in, its civilian crew determined to help. "How many ships are out there?" So young Choi asked in wonder. Jin Woo was monitoring all frequencies. I'm counting 47 vessels, Captain. Cargo ships, miners, research vessels, even some personal yachts. They're all coming to help us. Daeho felt his throat tighten with emotion. These weren't military ships. These were ordinary people who had heard their call and decided to risk everything for a chance to save Earth. Captain, came another transmission. This one from a small research ship. This is Dr. Kyung-Soo Park from the Mars Science Station. My ship has experimental sensors that might help you get closer to the alien flagship undetected. What can you do? Daeho asked. I can create sensor shadows using our probe launchers. It won't last long, but it might get you close enough to use your weapon. The battle around them was growing more intense. The dancing star took a direct hit and started venting atmosphere, but Captain Shin kept fighting. The Iron Will used its mining charges as weapons, creating explosions that confused the alien targeting systems. We're losing too many ships, Woo Bin said grimly. These civilian crews are brave, but they're not trained for combat. That's when Lieutenant Tae Min Ko's voice came over the radio. All civilian ships, this is military coordination. Follow my lead and attack in formation. On the tactical display, Daeho could see the scattered civilian ships beginning to organize. Tae Min was flying a damaged shuttle between them, using his military training to turn a chaotic battle into an effective assault. Cargo ships, use your bulk to shield the smaller vessels, Tae Min ordered. Mining ships, time your explosive charges together. Research vessels, jam their communications. The effect was immediate. The civilian fleet began fighting like a real military force. They were still outgunned, but now they were making every shot count. Incredible, Woo Bin whispered. They're actually holding their own. The alien fighters were struggling to adapt. They were used to facing either organized military fleets or helpless prey. This mix of civilian determination and military tactics was something completely new. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Yeonji Lim was coordinating with resistance cells in every major city. All ground teams begin Phase 2 operations, she broadcast. Target their communication arrays. From hidden positions around the world, human fighters launched attacks on alien ground installations. They couldn't destroy the massive alien ships, but they could disrupt their ability to coordinate. Jinwoo, what's happening to alien communications? Daeho asked. They're getting jammed from multiple sources, Jinwoo replied with a grin. The resistance fighters on Earth are hitting their relay stations, and the civilian ships up here are broadcasting interference on all their frequencies. This was exactly what they needed. The aliens relied on perfect coordination between their ships. Without clear communications, they couldn't work together effectively. Captain, Hyojin called from engineering. We're approaching optimal range for the resonance weapon. But I'm detecting something strange about the alien flagship. What kind of strange? There are human life signs aboard that ship. Hundreds of them. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. The aliens were keeping human prisoners on their command ship, probably as insurance against exactly this kind of attack. How many? So Young asked quietly. At least 300, Hyojin replied. They're being held in the lower sections of the ship. Daeho closed his eyes. If they used their weapon on the flagship, those innocent people would die. But if they didn't, everyone on Earth would die. Captain, Woo Bin said softly, maybe there's another way. What if we board the ship instead of destroying it? That's suicide, So Young protested. We don't have enough people for a boarding. Action. We don't, Tae Min's voice came over the radio, but I know people who might volunteer. On the tactical display, they could see the surviving civilian ships rallying around the Resilience. Cargo ship crews, miners, researchers, even yacht owners, all ready to follow them into the most dangerous mission imaginable. This is Captain Yan Ho Shin, came a transmission from the badly damaged Dancing Star. My ship is dying, but my crew is still alive. If you need people to board that alien ship, we volunteer. This is Gildong Bay's crew on the Iron Will, came another voice. We know how to work in dangerous environments. We can help rescue those prisoners. One by one, the civilian crews volunteered for what everyone knew was a death mission. They had already proven their courage in the space battle. Now they were ready to prove it again. Dr. Park from the research vessel, came another transmission. My team has studied alien technology. We might be able to disable their systems from the inside. Deho looked around the bridge at his crew. These people had followed him this far. Now he was asking them to attempt something even more impossible. Hyjin, can you modify the resonance weapon for a more focused attack? He asked. What do you mean? Instead of destroying their shields completely, can you create a small opening? Just enough for shuttles to get through? Hyjin thought for a moment. Maybe. If I adjust the frequency and reduce the power output, I might be able to create a temporary gap in their defenses. Do it, Deho ordered. Wubin, organize boarding teams from our volunteers. Taemin, coordinate the civilian ships to provide cover. Sir, So-young said, this is insane. We're talking about ordinary people attacking the most heavily defended ship in the galaxy. I know, Deho replied. But that's what makes us human. We do impossible things when the people we love are in danger. The alien flagship loomed ahead of them, massive and threatening. Its weapons could destroy cities, and its shields could stop any known weapon, but it had never faced an enemy like humanity. All ships, prepare for boarding action, Deho announced on all frequencies. Today, we show the galaxy that humans don't surrender. We fight for every life even when it seems hopeless. Around them, the civilian fleet moved into attack formation. Cargo haulers and mining ships prepared to assault the most powerful warship ever built. It should have been suicide, but somehow Deho believed they might actually succeed. Beginning. Resonance weapon charge, Hyjin announced. All ships prepare for assault, let's bring our people home. The resonance weapon fired and space itself seemed to sing. The sound of human music mixed with harmonic frequencies, creating a wave of energy that struck the alien flagship like an invisible hammer. For the first time in their history, the Vorthak shields flickered and failed. Captain Deho Kim watched as a small gap opened in the enemy's defenses. It would only last for minutes, maybe less. All boarding teams, go now, he shouted into the radio. Around the UES Resilience, civilian ships launched their shuttles and escape pods toward the alien flagship. Captain Yanho Shin led the way in a damaged cargo shuttle, followed by mining crews who knew how to work in dangerous spaces. Behind them came researchers and even yacht owners who had never held a weapon but refused to let others fight alone. Lieutenant, provide cover for the boarding teams, Deho ordered. Already on it, sir, came Taemin's reply. The young pilot was flying between alien fighter ships, drawing their fire away from the vulnerable shuttles. Hyjin Park monitored the weapon from engineering. Captain, the gap in their shields is holding, but barely. Our people have maybe 3 minutes to get inside. On the main screen, they could see the first shuttles reaching the alien ship. The massive vessel was as large as a city, its black hull covered with weapon ports and sensor arrays. Finding a way inside seemed impossible. This is Dr. Kyung-soo. Park, came a transmission from one of the research shuttles. I'm detecting an opening near the ship's lower docking bay. It looks like a maintenance port. All teams, follow Dr. Park's shuttle, Deho commanded. The civilian crews followed the research vessel toward the opening. Some shuttles were hit by alien defensive fire and exploded in bright flashes, but others kept going. These ordinary people had come too far to give up now. Woo-Bin Lee was tracking the boarding teams on his tactical display. First team is inside Abir, he reported. Captain Shin's crew made it through. Any word from them? They're encountering resistance, but they're advancing. Sir, these civilians are fighting like professional soldiers. Inside the alien ship, Captain Nas, Shin and his cargo crew moved through dark corridors that looked like the inside of a nightmare. The walls were covered with strange symbols, and the air smelled like metal and death. But they kept moving forward, following the directions Dr. Park was sending them. This way to the prisoner-holding area, Dr. Park's voice came through their radio. I'm reading human life signs 3 levels down. The cargo ship crew wasn't trained for combat, but they had something more important than training. They had determination. When alien guards tried to stop them, they fought with tools and bare hands, refusing to be turned back. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the flagship, Warlord Kalen Vex was experiencing something he had never felt before. Fear. His shields had failed, his communications were jammed, and enemy forces were inside his ship. How is this possible? He demanded of his officers. These humans should have surrendered days ago. Sir, their tactics make no sense, one officer replied. They fight like they don't care about dying. Everyone cares about dying, Kalen Vex snarled. Not these creatures, sir. They seem to fight harder when the odds are worst. Back on the Resilience, Jinwoo Nam was monitoring all communications. Captain, I'm getting reports from the boarding teams. They've reached the prisoner area and are beginning rescue operations. Any casualties? Several, sir, but they're still advancing. Captain Shin says nothing will stop them from bringing our people home. In the prisoner holding area, the rescue teams found hundreds of humans in terrible conditions. Men, women, and even children from the destroyed colonies, all weak from poor treatment but still alive. We're getting you out of here, Captain Shin told them. Stay close and move fast. Dr. So-Young Choi had joined one of the boarding teams to help treat the rescued prisoners. She worked quickly to stabilize the worst cases while the cargo crews and miners formed a protective line around them. These people need immediate medical attention, she reported to Daeho. But they're alive and they're going to make it. The alien guards fought desperately to stop the rescue, but they had never faced enemies like these human civilians. The cargo crews used loading equipment as weapons. The miners set explosive charges in strategic locations. The researchers hacked into alien computer systems. This is impossible, Warlord Kalen Vex said as reports reached him. How are primitive cargo workers defeating my elite guards? Sir, I think we underestimated their motivation, an officer replied carefully. They're not fighting for conquest or glory. They're fighting to save their own people. On the Resilience Bridge, Heejin's voice came over the intercom with urgency. Captain, the alien shields are coming back online. Our boarding teams need to get out now. All teams begin evacuation, Daeho ordered. You have 2 minutes before their defenses are fully restored. The rescued prisoners were weak, but the civilian crews carried them when they couldn't walk. Captain Shin and his people refused to leave anyone behind, even when alien reinforcements arrived to stop them. Go! 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 Taemin's voice came over the radio as he provided cover fire for the evacuating shuttles. I'll hold them off. One by one, the shuttles escaped from the alien ship. Some were damaged, some were overloaded with rescued prisoners, but they all made it out before the shields came back up. But something unexpected was happening throughout the alien fleet. The harmonic resonance from the human weapon wasn't just affecting the flagship. The frequency was spreading from ship to ship, carried by their own communication systems. Captain, Hae-Jin reported with excitement. The resonance is cascading through their entire network. All their shields are becoming unstable. What does that mean? It means we can hurt them now. All of them. Across the solar system, every human ship with weapons began attacking the alien fleet. The mighty Vorthak warships, stripped of their defensive shields, found themselves vulnerable for the first time. This is Admiral Miran Yoon, came a transmission from Earth Defense Command. All human forces, begin general attack. Show these invaders what happens when they threaten our home. Even the orbital defense platforms that everyone thought were destroyed came back online. Hidden bases that had been playing dead revealed themselves and opened fire. Humanity had been preparing for this moment. Warlord Kalen Vex watched his fleet take damage from weapons that should have been harmless against Vorthak technology. Retreat, he ordered. All ships, retreat to safe distance. But retreating from humans was harder than he thought. The civilian ships that had seemed like harmless prey now fought like wolves. Every cargo hauler, every mining ship, every research vessel had become a warship crewed by people who refused to give up. Sir, we're taking heavy casualties, an officer reported. Request permission to withdraw from this system entirely. For the first time in his military career, Kalen Vex gave the order to flee from an inferior enemy. All ships, jump to hyperspace. We leave this system immediately. The alien fleet began to disappear, their massive ships vanishing into the darkness between stars. But they left behind something they had never left before, a species that had fought them and won. On the bridge of the Resilience, Captain Daeho Kim watched the last alien ship disappear. Around him, his crew cheered and cried and hugged each other. They had done the impossible. "Captain," Jinwoo said with tears in his eyes, "we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. Other species that were conquered by the Vorthak. They're asking how we did it. What should I tell them?" Daeho thought about everything they had been through. The civilian crews who had sacrificed everything, the resistance fighters on Earth, the ordinary people who had become heroes when their world needed them most. "Tell them that humans don't fight for conquest or glory," he said finally. "We fight for each other. We fight for home, and we never, ever give up." The UES Resilience turned toward Earth, carrying rescued prisoners and a crew of heroes. Behind them, the stars shone brighter, as if the galaxy itself was celebrating humanity's victory. In the days that followed, the story of the Battle of Earth spread to every corner of known space. The Vorthak Empire, shaken by their first defeat, began to face rebellions on worlds they had conquered. Other species learned that the seemingly invincible aliens could be beaten, and at the center of it all was the memory of ordinary people who had done extraordinary things. Cargo ship captains who flew into certain death, miners who fought elite alien warriors, researchers who risked everything to save strangers. Humanity had become a beacon of hope in a dark galaxy, proving that sometimes the smallest light can drive away the greatest darkness. The human spirit, once tested in the fires of war, had emerged stronger than anyone thought possible. Earth was safe. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in the depths of space, other species looked to the stars and whispered a new word they had learned from the humans: hope.